Hello there, artsy friends. Hey, how are you this morning? Oh, I'm only 3 minutes late. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Welcome in. Guys, come on, get yourself settled. Hopefully we having some really, really great live today. We had a wonderful, amazing time on the live yesterday. If you guys got a chance to catch it. If not, do be sure after this live to check the live playlist and go back and check out that live from yesterday, which turned out to be really, really good and informative. I'm getting the chat pulled up, so give me just a minute. I'll be able to see what's going on. Let's see here. How is everyone this morning? Or afternoon, if that's what time it is where you are. So, let's see. Just a bit. All right. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Ruby. Hello, Castle. Welcome in. So glad that you can join. Good morning, Lisa. How is everyone? Ooh, we got us a goodie today. We're gonna be doing a lot, so we're not gonna do a lot of delaying. Before we jump in, we are gonna jump in and start talking about stuff right away because we have swatching and some creation to do today. Wow. We all enjoy taking a look at some new products together. I have my cup of coffee. I'm quiet. Quiet. No one hears me. Okay. Let me see. Oh, well, see if I can get this mic. Can you? Hold on. I'm gonna try to hook my little mic back up. Hold on. So that the sound will be clear. Okay. I have my mic hooked in. Could you guys let me know if you can hear me? Can you hear me with the mic hooked in? Can you hear me? Crackling. I'm not exactly sure why. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's try this again. How is the sound now? How is the sound now? Can you hear me? And is it clear? Slight crackle. I don't know. I'm not sure what's exactly going on at the moment. I might have to remove the mic and just use the mic from um the phone that I've been using. Hopefully it'll clear up in a second. Um I thought it was plugged in tight. Let me try to reboot the mic system and see what happened. Just bear with me a second. And if not, then I'll just remove the wireless mic and we will move on with the regular audio system that we've been using. Doesn't quite, for some reason it doesn't quite work that way too. So there's something you have to do in order to get AirPods to pair to the phone to actually work and live stream. And it was just seemed to be easier to use a wireless mic for clarity. Now I can try to put in my AirPods and see if that works, but I can't guarantee you because I know I've tried it before and it did not necessarily work out all that well. Um, so are we still crackling? Because if we're still crackling, I'll tell you what, let's just take off the mic, and today we're gonna have to do it old school style. Okay, let's see. All right, we're rocking old school style, no mic. How's that? Just keep in mind that if I should turn my head away from the camera or away from, or get up for a second, you guys might not be able to hear me as well as you normally do. So how is that? Can everyone hear and see without crackling and with clarity at this point? Now, why it's still crackling at this point, I can't, I have no idea. Maybe, kind of maybe refresh your video, go out and come back in and see if that helps. Anyone else? How is it on anyone else's end? How is it on anyone else's end? I know Tisa's saying that she may be experiencing crackling. Anyone else here? How is the sound for you? I just kind of unmuted my things in the background, and it seems like there may be some crackling on my end. So maybe it's in the internet connection. I'm so sorry, friends, and I hope that clears up really soon. I hope it clears up. Um, I don't want to have to restart the live because it'll kick us out of this one, and we'll have to come back for another one. So let's go ahead and jump into it and get this started for today. So good morning. Hey there, my artsy, lovely family and friends. Welcome to our regularly scheduled 11 a.m. Monday morning live. And we are hopefully, I have some exciting things to share with you today. So we are just going to go ahead and kick it off like we normally do in normal fashion and talk about some back things. Well, of course, you guys noticed that there was not a regular pre-recorded Sunday release on yesterday as there normally is because we did a surprise live instead. And in that surprise live, we introduced some products, we introduced a giveaway, and we spent quite a bit of time kind of talking about ink and wash. As most of you know, we are in the middle of Inktober, which encompasses all 31 days of October, um, giving you 31 individual prompts to ideally create from using ink in your projects or using ink solo to do your project. Now, I have quartered back every single solitary art challenge with saying the exact same thing. One, it is not mandatory that you complete all 31 days. It's not even mandatory that you complete a complete week. The only thing that's mandatory is that you complete whatever you feel comfortable and actually have the time to complete. There's no rule that says you have to do all 31 days to participate. Second rule, prompts are simply a suggestion. It is not holding your feet to the fire to say that you have to create around that word that is merely suggested to get you up and going. Create whatever you want. The point is to create so that at the end of the challenge, you've experienced some type of um, growth. You've gotten in enough practice in some type of way to grow and to see a difference in your artwork. So that's primarily what the art challenges are geared towards. I've completed day one up through day, what's today? Today is the 7th. So I've completed day 1 up through day 6 of Inktober at this point. Now, all of it isn't painted, but all, it's been illustrated and most of it's been inked in. I still have some inking that I need to do to some other projects. Some finish up the inking for those projects, should I say. But so far, so good. Inktober is coming along pretty well for me. I hope it is for you guys as well. Now, I have been blessed enough to be able to paint every day up until this point, but I'm pretty sure, especially with my hectic life, I'm going to run into a day where I won't have time to paint, or I'm actually literally just going to draw something real small just to say I did it. But not putting too much pressure on myself. Let's talk about what we did yesterday. So in yesterday's live, we unboxed 3 different products. We unboxed Pen and Ink Drawing Workbook by Alfonso Dunn. We unboxed the Stillman and Burn Zeta Series Mixed Media Sketchbook. And we also unboxed the Derwent Line and Wash Line Maker set, which came with the Derwent Line and Wash Pan Paint set, and of course 2 Derwent Fine Liners, 0.8 millimeter and a 0.3 millimeter Needle. In that video, we kind of walked through the book, talked about some different points, major points in it. We swatched the line and wash set, and we did an illustration from the actual book, just so that we can get a real good general idea of the products. Now, I'll be honest, yesterday I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about this paper, mainly because it smudged a little bit as I was doing the inking, but that was more my fault than the paper. You should always give your ink time to dry. And I was actually working from right to left versus left to right, although I'm a right-handed person. So I was literally forcing myself to drag my hand across the product, across the illustration. So those are all points to keep in mind. With that being said, after it dried, I really do like the way it looks on this paper. And as far as the way the ink tints dried down, as far as the way the pastel shades dried down, it gave me a pretty flat swatching, and I am able to see the actual graphite particles stand out pretty well in the graphite paints there. So I actually don't think this is going to turn out to be a bad paper. It really reminds me of more of sort of a hot press watercolor paper with a super smooth texture versus a mixed media paper. I don't know. I'm gonna try some other things in it. Jury's still out, but I don't feel like the first composition turned out too bad. With that said, all 3 of these items were grouped together and announced as a giveaway for the book, the sketchbook, and the palette. So if you are interested in entering that giveaway for brand new versions of these 3, do go back and check out the live from yesterday. Now, I have not had a chance to edit it, so it's not quite replay viewer friendly, but you can definitely pick up all the information that you need in order to enter the giveaway from the video and hopefully learn something too. You know, that's kind of the goal, hopefully. So yeah, friends, go check that out. Go check that out. This Wednesday coming up, I've been debating real hard about what I was going to do this Wednesday because I would really like to incorporate some Inktober into some crafting. And when I say crafting, I mean like card making or sketchbook making or junk journal making, because it's been a good minute since I released a junk journal crafting video. And I always pre-log that with whether I'm releasing a junk journal crafting video or a sketchbook crafting video. The type of papers that you bind into that book is determines what type of journal it is, not necessarily the video itself. So what I'm saying is you can watch a junk journal video, create the journal, change the paper type on the inside, and instantly it's gone from a junk journal to a watercolor sketchbook or alcohol or whatever type of sketchbook you're trying to make, or vice versa. That's what I'm saying with that. So I'm trying to decide. I think this Wednesday's release will be, it's definitely, of course, going to be concentrating on using ink in the project. I just haven't decided whether it'll be a card crafting with water soluble products, or if it'll be a sketchbook making with inky draw. I don't know. Stay tuned for that, but it will definitely be inky. This upcoming Sunday, we are going to be looking at a colored pencil set because it's about time for another colored pencil release. Um, yeah, so that's what's going to be rolling with it. Speaking of colored pencils, if you are a part of the Creation Station tonight at 8 p.m. for our regular scheduled Monday Night Live, we're probably going to be doing a colored pencil tour. Here's the thing, don't freak out. It's not going to take long to get through it because you guys know I really only keep the top quality colored pencils that I run across. The rest of them I kind of gift away. So there's not going to be a huge number of sets to go through. On top of the fact that most of the color pencil sets I have here are yet to be opened and tested. So you don't have to really concern yourself with that being too long. And then we'll actually move into finishing that coffee painting that we started a couple of videos back and just haven't had a chance to finish. So hopefully we'll have a lot of fun, talk about a lot of different things. And then, it's after 8, it's the creation station, so it's definitely a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more of a playful slash educational atmosphere versus trying to keep it as educational and professional as I sort of do for YouTube, because we know how YouTube rolls. All right, so before we jump into the meat of today's video, let me check the comment section. First of all, I'm going to say hello to anyone just joining us. So happy that you are here with us, my friends. I'm going to pin that comment, which I should have pinned a few moments ago. And let's see. Running them up with a paintbrush. I love it. Welcome, welcome, running them up. It's cracking for me too. Hello. Oh, I want that book. Yeah, Tisa, it's an amazing book. Hello, Nessa. How are you, love? Welcome, welcome. Oh, honey, we know what you meant. We are just glad that you were able to join us. Hopefully the crackling or the static has kind of cleared up a little bit. I'm not sure if it was the internet connection. Well, it had to be the internet connection because even after I removed the new mic, you guys said that it was still crackling. So hopefully that is starting to clear up. Grab your supplies, grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever you need. Let's get into it. So, I showed yesterday all of the things that I've done for Inktober up until yesterday's process, but I'm not going to do that today because I would like to, kind of wait and do a flip through. But just know that I am up to today's prompt. Yesterday's prompt was trick, which I had some. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you. I'm not done with it, but I'm gonna show you where I'm going with it. And keep in mind that my goal for Inktober is to work on my sketching. I am not. It takes me a long time to really get my sketches to where I want to, which is why I typically work on them in the background versus on camera. Although I will draw on camera with you guys, just so you can see that, hey, he can't actually draw. Um, I'm not, a master sketch artist, so it takes me a little time to get to where I'm trying to go. So here's what I'm planning on doing with yesterday. So I have a Star Trek communication come badge here, and it's actually going to be gold. By the time I'm done with it, the perspective will be as if though you're looking across the top of the come badge, and it's going to be gold and shiny and all pretty. And then I'm gonna turn this into like wall art. So there'll be wording down here, and this will be probably the only page in the Inktober journal that's gonna have like, it's gonna be more like an art journal page versus a drawing. But that is what I'm working on for from yesterday. And today's is, I forget what today is, but yeah, I'll look when I log off. But yeah, it takes me a minute to sketch, my friends. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. And I know a lot of artists who don't sketch at all. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest. So that's what Inktober is gonna be for me. Becoming more proficient with my sketching and learning to sketch quicker with more accuracy. That's what I plan on working on these 31 days. Today's video, we are looking at some really cool new products for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into this, starting with the sketchbook. So this is a artist produced product. This product is by a artist known as create underscore D on Instagram. Some of you may be familiar with her, Crafty Dessa, and she also is on Palm Street if you're over there. Um, but definitely check her out on Instagram. But she's an artist that is a special education teacher, which I think is absolutely amazing, who was using watercolor and art as a hobby. And of course, like most of us, when that little situation happened where we were all locked up in the house, I won't say call its name, but we all know what we were going through at that point when nobody could work and everybody was locked in the house and social media was probably at the all-time high it had been in decades. She dived back into her artistry and started creating this huge following. And as a result, just like myself, she is starting to now try to build a art company around that and producing her own products. And of course, I'm going to support artists like that. So this book is currently on Amazon. I'm gonna be very honest with you. If I'm not mistaken, it was priced at, oh, what was it priced at? Somewhere between $35 and $40, if I'm not mistaken. It is 140 pound, 100% cotton, cold pressed texture, 24 sheets of 8.5 by 11-inch paper now, which is a little different. We typically run to what, 10 by 7, then it may jump up to 9 by 12, but it's not often that you really run across a sketchbook where the paper is already like American Standard copy size. So I thought that was pretty cool about the book. It has a beautiful design on the front. It's spiral bound. Now I haven't used any paper, so this is by no any paper in here, so this is by no way a review versus us taking a first look and impression together. It gives her website and as well as Instagram creative underscore D. And the back is simply advertisement with the name of the company, Disa Art, and the website. So, speaking of website, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but I am going to take a little pause right now and explain something. If any of you guys have ever tried to go to the Defiant Art site and you try to do it without using one of the links I've posted, you probably put in defiantart.com exactly as the company name is spelled, and maybe I got it somewhere else. Let me explain why. When I set up the company website, of course, we know the company name is Defiant Arts Company. Now, what I wanted the website to be was Defiant, spelled the same way, art.com. However, this domain was taken, my friends, and I had to come up with different variations. I allowed the website to give me some suggestions, and then I went with what I thought looked exactly like this, but actually turned out to be Defy Start.com. And I know that seems so crazy, right? But I promise you that's how it ended up being. And there was nothing I could do after it was done. Because once you pay for a domain, the only way to change it is to pay for another one. And I'm sorry, I'm just not rich. So I had to roll with what we had. So if you've ever tried to do it, that's the reason it's that way. I do suggest that, you just access it through the links that you see in the videos. Or if you remember, instead of putting Defiant Arts, you put Defy Start, you know. And I'm hoping that as time goes on, the person or whoever owns the way I want the domain wrote out releases it so that I can then take over so many crazy in accordance to business. Okay, intermission over. Just wanted to give you that. It popped in my head based on me looking at her website. So this has a little card in it. It says, thank you for your purchase. Thank you so much for your order. We really appreciate you supporting our small business. And as I said, she is a small business, so I love, 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 love to support um, Artist Based Smile. Look how beautiful that cover is. It's really kind of Christy Ricey, huh? It's really kind of paint crushy a little bit. And I don't mean that as an insult at all, because of course you guys know I love Christie's branding. But this, it kind of gives me a little Christie a little bit. It really does. All right. Even all the way down to like the rose gold spiral binding, which is something Christie is known for using their rose gold in her products. So, very interesting. When you flip it over on the inside, and of course, I love a sketchbook that's spiral bound on the short side versus the long side. I just feel like it's more convenient and it makes the book more usable. So on the very inside, you're going to get a world of possibilities where she presents you with a color chart showing you cool colors and warm colors. And then there are a couple of color recipes which are giving you actual percentage for each of the primaries you need to add in order to make a particular color, which I think is pretty cool. And it kind of gives you some, I guess these are maybe her signature mixes. I haven't really put any research into that, but of course I will before we get around to doing any type of review on this paper. Although I don't typically do paper reviews, I will be reviewing this sketchbook. So I'm assuming that these are probably some of her favorite mixes or signature mixes that she's giving the recipe for. On the back of that page, excuse me, there's a welcome. Her name is Bindi. She's a full-time special education teacher and a part-time watercolor mixed media artist. This is the perfect sketchbook if you're in the beginning stages of your watercolor journey or a seasoned pro. Okay, so for everybody. I've included a color wheel with warm and cool colors and some color recipes that use primary colors. I'm thrilled to share my art and knowledge through this sketchbook product and hope it will inspire you creatively. The pandemic allowed me to rediscover my passion for painting. I didn't see it, she did. And I started sharing my artwork on Instagram. In the beginning, I had difficulty selecting the right watercolor paper. We're going to talk about that in a second. But after 3 years of experience, I have created a sketchbook for beginner artists that meets and exceeds expectations, in her opinion. I look forward to seeing your beautiful artwork on these 100% cotton papers. Feel free to share your work with me on Instagram using hashtag, and then she gives a hashtag for the sketchbook. Happy creating. Watercolor paper is an enormously important tool in your water-soluble art journey. Watercolor paper can change the way the cheapest, maybe not best quality paints or products work as long as you have a really good paper. It's always been my stance that the most important tool in your arsenal is the substrate you're creating on. There may be people who disagree with that, but I stand 10 toes down. And if you have a good quality paper, you can typically make things work. Because I have created what I would like to think is some really decent artwork using some of the most terrible quality products, all because I was doing it on a really decent paper. That's just my popular opinion based on my experience. There may be others who have other experiences and feel that there's another product that's more important, and you are more than welcome to share that in the comment section or in the chat. I'm just solely speaking from my experience. So we will be working in this sketchbook today. We are going to be working with the Roman Szmal professional watercolor paints. I have heard a tremendous amount about this brand um, from several different artists. I remember there was one time when I did budget um, a video. It was, I think it was titled Five Amazon Palettes under $20 or maybe under $15. It wasn't that long ago, maybe a couple of months ago. And the video was met with some pretty, good comments and some good. It was received well. That's what I'm trying to say, um, for the most part. But there was one comment um, that was placed under that video that I had to think how to respond to professionally because my first mind wanted to say something completely different. And I'm just going to kind of sum it up. But in essence, what the person was saying is that they did not understand why I was wasting people's time, introducing them to subpar quality products when they could very well get professional products around the same price. So I tried to explain nicely to the person why the thrifty apprentice, thrifty apprentice, okay, just follow that. I was trying to explain to him why the thrifty apprentice would be looking for great quality products that were not necessarily priced like professional products for those of us who don't have golden pockets and bank accounts. So then the person rebutted with, well, I think you're doing a disservice basically, and you could be reviewing and suggesting, and it just so happens he brought up Roman Smalls, and he said, because you can get Roman Smalls for da 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 da. And of course, at that time, at that particular point, my next response took off the professional hat because, bro, let's talk about this. I am always one for other people voicing their opinion. I love a respectful, sort of educated exchange between people where you may be standing on two different sides of the fence, but both of you are presenting relevant information and it may help the other person understand something that they didn't. But the way he was responding was really condescending, as if though he was trying to put me down as an artist, um, or just as a channel. So, at that point, Thrifty switched into Ken, and Ken responded. And in so many words, I had to let him know this is my channel, you know? Um, I respect your opinion, and I feel that it's valid. However, if you completely disagree with what I'm doing, I will more than happily subscribe and support your channel once you get it started and start correcting all of this. Um, what was the word he used? Um, um, oh God, I forget the word he used. But basically saying that I was doing you guys a disservice by showing you uh, anything that wasn't of professional quality. Kind of rubbed me in the wrong way, I'll be honest. I think sometimes, keyboard warriors, that's what I call them. I think sometimes they get a little bit too caught up in the whole bureaucracy of it all with wanting to. It's one thing to have an opinion. It's another thing to impose your opinion and try to control somebody else's actions. It's just a little crazy. So I decided from that incident and from talking with other artists who has a lot of great respect for this particular brand, that I wanted to definitely get it into the studio, give it a try, see what all the hoo-ha and hype is about, because I've heard a lot of people rave about this. So it started out with me getting a 5 color introductory mixing set, which was gifted to the studio by Decca. Now these paints are made in Poland. I have removed them from the box, but I will show you the back, which contains a swatch sheet or a swatching chart showing you the 5 mixing colors that come in the mixing set. So you'll get a lemon yellow, which is a PY61. You'll get an Aquarius red, which is a PR214, a ultramarine light PB29, an Aquarius green, which is a 3 pigment mixture of PY150, a PBR25, and a PB29. And then work with me. I'm hoping I pronounce this correctly. Kaput mortem, mortem, kaput mortem. I may be butchering that, but that's what I think it is. Which is a PR 102. So this was the initial set. I watched a couple of reviews and I got this initial set in. I opened the paints, I looked at them, and I'm gonna be honest. Just the quality of the way the paints looked before I ever put a brush to them kind of convinced me that I wanted a few more paints than just the initial mixing set. So I set out to find the paints myself. I flipped over the back of this box because I wanted to make sure that whatever I ordered was not replicating or duplicating what I already had in the initial mixing set. And then I found the Roman Szmal Aquarius set and I started to compare the colors on the back of it. And I was happy to find out that none of the colors that came in the mixing set repeated itself in this set, essentially giving me 18, well, 17 individual colors. And then I ordered a buff titanium open stock. Now, you can find these on Jackson's Art. I do believe that's where the original set came from. That's where I ordered my set from. Now, I have not been able to find this uh, paint on any of our commonplace websites here in the US. No Michaels, no Joann's, no Amazon, no Jerry's. I don't think I saw them on Blick either. I had to specifically go to Jackson's Art, so I wanted to throw that caveat out there. I removed all of the paints and I took one of my Christy Rice palettes and put them all inside the pans. They come in full pans. There may have been half pan versions. I don't know if I saw them or if I was even looking for them. I was targeting the full pan version specifically. Ended up with 18 colors, which meant I had to take out the metal tray, put some magnets on the bottom of them in order to get them all in. Wonderful thing is, I still have room for 3 more colors if I want to order them open stock. And I am super, super excited about giving these a try, testing these, field testing. I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to test these paints to death. With all the things that I've heard about them, and with some of the episodes I've gone through about them, I'm going to test them to. They better knock my socks off. I better be able to get up and paint a rainbow in the sky outside my door with these paints. With what I've gone through to get up into the studio. So we're gonna swatch these out. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna pre-wet these and give them a second to soak while I check the comment section. Um, and see what you guys are talking about. I've got my 100% cotton Painter's Color Diary 6x8 swatch book here that we're going to be swatching in. All right. We're going to get those swatched out. And after we get done swatching, we actually are going to be doing a Inktober, well, a ink creation with them. It's not a part of the Inktober prompt list, but it is something that I wanted to do with you guys, and I'll show you where it came from. So let's get this to crack-a-lackin'. I'm grabbing my extra phone so I can check comments, and then we're going to jump right back into swatching. I think I'll use my Joy Chaser brush today. All right, let's see. What you guys talking about? Do, 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 do. There's a interference sound. Yeah, I've it cleared up mostly. I think to clear it up completely, I might have to restart the live, and I just did not want to put anybody through that. I'm scared that it's probably the internet connection, guys. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. Running amok. I like the name. Uh, takes me ages to sketch something I halfway like. Nessa, yeah, Nessa, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes, Stephanie, Star Trek. Well, hey, Steph. Welcome in, love. Star Trek was amazing. We're not going to even get off on that. we spent, ooh, go check yesterday's live. Man, we talked about Star Trek quite a bit, actually. Oh, I just got the Ink House book. Stephanie, hold that thought. Hold that thought for me. Um, Definic art would have been a good one. Hmm. Definic art. Love Chrissy Rice. Yes, 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 yes. We love Chrissy over here in this corner of the art world. Chrissy and I work really close on a lot of things. Running them up says, I love Roman Szmal's paints right up there with A Gallo and better than Daniel Smith, in my opinion. Love that, love that. I'm an A Gallo fan. I have a what 5, 6 color mixing set that we tested back during what was it, friends? World Watercolor Month. I think it was World Watercolor Month that we got those A Gallo paints and beautiful handmade Italian paint. Beautiful. I have them in the palette with some other handmade paints that I have. Go King. Unplug anything on the same electric line that you aren't using. There's nothing plugged in, love. It really isn't. The only, I mean, not even my phone is plugged in because I had the wireless mic plugged into it, so I don't even have the cord running into it to keep the battery charged. Um, and other than that, I typically unplug everything other than the lights, which if I unplug those, you guys are not going to be able to see anything. So, and it's not something that typically happens. It's just today happens to be a fluke. Unfortunately, I am doing wonderful, Stephanie. Thank you so much for asking. I really, really appreciate that. It's been busy couple of days for me. I was up earlier before getting to the live, packing up last week giveaway, so that they can all get shipped out. Hopefully today in between lives, if not tomorrow. I typically ship once a week, so shipment should be going out hopefully today or tomorrow. Um, Preparing for tonight's Patreon live. I was doing that a little bit earlier and just kind of chilling out with family. It's been good. If I could stop working, completely retire from the 9 to 5 I have to go to and only concentrate on my art and growing my art business, my life would be so much more better, so much better. But for some reason, the light company won't stop charging me for electricity. For some reason, food costs an enormous amount of money at this particular point. So we have to do what we have to do. Nessa says she still watches Star Trek often. Nessa, I watch Star Trek every day. Every single day. There is not one day that goes by that I don't watch something dealing with Star Trek. Not one. Running them up, I don't hear the crackling anymore except if you move around a lot. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Because I don't have the mic on anymore, we're solely using the phone mic at this point. So that's interesting. Thank you, Nelson. I appreciate the effort, love. I always appreciate you guys trying to help out. Nessa says retiring. Yes, wish I could quit the day job even though it's art related too. If my day job was art related, I'd be good. I want my day job to be nothing but defiant art. I want the only job I have to concentrate on is defiant art. I want to wake up breathing art. I want to go to sleep breathing art throughout the day. When I go take a lunch break, I want to have to do it on a plate of art I created. Like, that's how much I only want to concentrate on defiant arts. But haven't quite gotten there yet. But I got my fingers and my toes crossed. I got my hands cupped. I'm looking, towards the sky, and I have nothing but positive vibes, hope, an aspiration that one day every single thing that I just said that I want to do will come into fruition. And it's the only thing I'll be doing. Okay, and on the crackles a tiny bit. Okay, weird. Well, I'm not going to start watching you paint over crackles anyway, so I'm good with it. That's sweet. Thank you, love. That is very, very sweet. I don't know what the crackling is about. Hmm. Let me try one other thing. I really don't want to mess with it, especially since you guys said it's just a little bit and it's not something that's like super major. Because I'm scared if I start messing with it, it may get worse. So let's go ahead and jump into uh, some painting, some swatching, not painting, swatching. And I want the boxes back so I can tell you what the colors are now. I have put them, hold on, let me find a little piece of paper where I had a color wrote down. Let's see. What's bamboo color? Green, gold, ivory, black. Nope, that sounds like core colors to me. Let's see. I'm trying to find a little list. Because what I'll do is, when I pan a palette up, I will make a list of the order the paints are in. That way I won't have a hard time remembering. But I can't find my little list here, so it looks like we're going to be playing a guessing game and how I can put these colors in this palette. Alright, so let's start off here going with the one I'm definitely sure of, which is going to be buff titanium. That's unfortunate. I really should have done a little bit more due diligence about checking to see if I had that list before this live started. But we're starting off with buff titanium that I'm sure of. And we're just going to lay down a thin swatch. I will finish the swatch up off camera, but I just want to lay down enough of a swatch now for us to get a general idea. And I'm actually switching brushes right away. That brush is going to hold too much water for what I want to do. Let's see here. I want a flat or more of a filbert type brush for my swatching. No. There's a filbert that's a little bit too big for what I want. I know they're in there, friends. I just got to put my hands on one of them. Okay. I don't want to use that. I really don't. Why can't I find the brush I want? What is really going on right now? What is this? What is this? That'll work. That's a number 6 filbert, Master's Touch, whatever. Moving on to the next color here. And I did, spray these down a little bit. It doesn't look like they really wet all that much from that experience. So, oh, super saturated colors. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to be swatching all that properly with this filbert brush. But we'll make it work. Alright. Moving on to the next one here. And I'm going to be able to look at them and gauge what it is once I actually get them swatched. I'll tell you what we have here. And this, I figure out where I wrote them down at. I'm really wondering what I did with that paper. Let's see. What is this? I keep notes on everything, friends. I feel unprepared now. I thought I had everything for this video ready to go. That way I would not even have to get up. Don't you guys hate that? Friends, do you not hate that? When you think you have everything just planned out to the T, and then you get in the heat of the moment of what you're doing and you realize, oh man, I forgot something. Yep. That is exactly what has happened. Give me 1 second, friends. 1 second. All right. Thank you for that, my friends. I really was hoping I would put my hands on that list of how these paints are put in this pan. I'm so upset with myself right now because I'm really gonna have to struggle to figure this out at this point. Ken should know better than that simple, silly mistake. Let's see. That's the granulating color set, ironically enough. That is, what is this? Where did I get a bamboo green from? What colors are those? Red, brown. Well, it's definitely not this one. Alright, anyway, we're gonna keep rolling because I'm wasting time trying to look for that. And I do not want to waste you guys' time at all. Yeah, I'm just having an unorganized moment at the moment, friends. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, alright. Anywho, moving on with our next color, which is definitely, okay, that's quinacridone red. That's what that is. Know that one. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys know sketches, if anybody's familiar with sketches, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of Sketch's favorite paints as well. That's a beautiful color. And then the next one would be quinacridone magenta. Like some of them are going to be pretty easy to guess just by looking at it. Beautiful color. All right, next up we have, what is that? Ah, that is starting from the darkest animal. Is that what it is? This is natural. Is it natural? Nickel azo yellow. This is nickel azo yellow. Got a beautiful goldish tone to it. I love this color. I don't have it in many sets, so I'm really happy to have it in this one. Next up, we're gonna roll with, this has to be Hansa Yellow Medium, based on the way I would have set the palette up. Next up, we would have Aquarius. Oh, hold on, let me see. This might be lemon. One of them is lighter than the other. This is. Well, I'll be able to tell you in just a second. Let me swatch the other one up out beside it, and then I'll be able to tell you which is which. Okay, yeah. Lemon yellow and then Aquarius yellow, which are actually super close in all honesty. not the same color. They don't have the same pigment. So Aquarius yellow is PY 168, and the lemon yellow is PY 61. Although looking at them there, they look extremely close to each other. Let's move on. Looks like we're going into greens here. And this would be Hooker's green. Beautiful earthy color. But you guys know I love green. Green is my favorite color, so I'm probably never going to say there's an ugly green. I have some that I like less than others, but I tend to find a way to work with all greens. I love it. It's a beautiful color. And next up, we would have Aquarius green. Sort of light almost. Not uh and there will be a shift on the watery, the first layer swatch. And I will go back in and glaze these, but I won't glaze them on camera. You will get to see the glaze once we get to that Hooker's green is such a beautiful color. The Aquarius green isn't bad either, especially in its more saturated form. So you'll be able to see it as we build with layering. And like I said, you guys will get to see that more in the review than you will here. All right, so first we're gonna be rolling with phthalo blue. I just know how I will put my blues in order, so I don't even have to look up to tell you what these are. First we're gonna roll with phthalo blue. Standard. They're clean. I am noticing that they're clean. No grit, no anything. Very, very, very clean colors. Very transparent so far as well. We'll see just how transparent as I start to glaze them. But as of right now, super transparent paints. Next up is going to be ultramarine light. And I'm really going to be curious to see the ultramarine light and the regular ultramarine blue swatched out beside each other, just to see what the major differences are going to be between the two. Both formulated from PB29 in order to be considered an ultramarine. And then of course the next one would be actual ultramarine. Hmm. Okay. Maybe it's a cooler color. I mean warmer color, maybe. We're definitely going to be able to see with the glazing, but in that first layer swatch, not a huge difference. Next up, we're going to have natural sienna, which would be the yellow ochre or the raw sienna of the set. I think it leans more so towards raw sienna than yellow ochre. To me, raw sienna is a much cleaner, more transparent color, especially for mixing. Yellow ochre tends to be a bit more opaque and has just a little bit more, a little thicker coverage to it than a raw sienna will, which is why I tend to lean towards raw sienna. And I really like the way that natural sienna light looks. It really puts me in the mind of raw sienna. Next up, we're going to be rolling with, swap it. What is that? Quinacridone Burnt Umber. Quinacridone Burnt Umber. And this is my first time ever experience a quinacridone burnt umber. Seems to be just as red as a regular burnt umber to me, or maybe not. Definitely a little bit. The earth tones here seem to be a little bit more transparent than earth tones I run across in other sets. All right. Next up, we will be rolling with. I think this is the complete mortem. No, this is going to be Hold on, let me swatch it to see. No, I believe this is a Cypress Burnt Umber. Cypress Burnt Umber. All right. And then the Kaput Mortem, which really almost has like a purple undertone to it, a violet undertone to it, although it's a brown. Um, Beautiful color. I think it landscapes. It would work amazingly in landscapes. It's just so different from me, guys. See how violet it actually is, right? And there is the first swatching of all of the, what is it, 18? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, 18 colors. All right, there is that. You guys want to take a closer look at it? There's the first layer of swatching for those paints. I'm seeing some granulation in some of them. Not much so far. I will do some further testing on that. Um, there was quite a shift, but of course I did water these down, so we was expecting it to be a shift. And I typically do my swatching this way because I'm going to do a couple of glazing layers on here to see how I can build the saturation. But from the first swatching, pretty decent, and I have a good representation of what the colors are on watercolor paper so that I can actually move forward from this point to do today's project. Now, keep in mind we're in the middle of Inktober, so this project is going to be more ink-based with watercolor accenting, but I really did want to swatch these paints and you know, start working with them so I can start to get a feel for them. Here is what we're using as a reference today, my friends. This is the Ink House by Rory Dobner. This is one of the most amazing ink books I've ever seen. I absolutely love it without a shadow of a doubt. The illustrations in it are so spectacular that I refuse to, excuse me, because I've seen people using this as a color book. That's how I was originally introduced to it from Coloring View or View as a View, whichever one you may be familiar with, whichever one of her channels you may be familiar with. But coloring book artist that uses several different mediums in different coloring books. And I was watching her channel one day, and she was working inside this book with was it color pencils maybe? But I just thought that the paper took the medium so well. I was like, what is that book? I'm not super into coloring books, but I would love a coloring book like that. So I went in search of it, ordered me a copy of it, and when it came, I made the decision that I was not about to put any type of medium. I mean, I'll order another one. I'll run the pages off and kind of work on those, but I will not destroy the, not putting anything in this book. I'm in love with it. So let me just show you a couple of other images that are in this book, and I use it mainly for reference. Especially, I'm going to be using it for reference during Inktober. So this is the Ink House. It has the most amazing, super detailed ink illustrations. And I feel like it is a wonderful resource for reference. And hear me well, it's really not all that expensive. Now I still need to go back and edit yesterday's live. I'm going to be putting in the video description everything that we used in yesterday's live in that video description. And once I get around to editing this live, I will be putting everything that you see and everything that we covered today in the video description with links in case you want to go check anything out or you want to add anything to your art collection. So just go with me for a minute. Look at the detail. How amazing is that? Like, how beautiful is that? I haven't even, it's hard to even flip the page. Look at the amount of detail in the water, in the floor. I mean, the cross hatching, the circle hatching, the directional hatching that runs all the way down the hallway, creating like this line of depth to make it look like the page is just extended. It's just beautiful work, friends. Beautiful work. Beautiful. Now, this book has a little trick to it. I think they're like in the very back. Let me see. So throughout the illustrations, there are bugs, like these bugs that he illustrated, and they are hidden in the pages. So basically, as you're going through the illustration and you're looking, you're also kind of paying attention to try to identify where these bugs are. Now, I've kind of identified a few of them. I haven't found all of them, but I'm so captivated by everything that I see in the book. It's hard to concentrate on any one thing for a given amount of time. Um, yeah. So this illustration actually will be one of the illustrations I use for Inktober. So you will see this again. I've already sketched it out and started to ink it in. I really wanted to work on fur. I felt like the little bandit, I'm stealing your cheese type mouse was really cute. I love all of the cross hatching and the line work with the different line weights that are in the floor to create the texture in the wood. Even with the molding here, look how detailed the molding is. And you guys know I'm a stickler for detail. Love this type of thing. All right. So you will see that image again. Look, beautiful. Oh, this is a Freddy Fox glove. You're gonna get, some information to go along. But this is Freddy Fox glove. I'll just introduce him to you guys. Look at him. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And if you were with us yesterday for the Alfonso Dunn book, we kind of covered some of the techniques as we flipped through that book, and immediately I'm able to see some of the things that he was talking about in that workbook yesterday because it just kind of stuck. Remember me, making that comment yesterday how my mom used to force me to read the answer to a question I had because it would cause me mentally to retain it more thoroughly than if she just answered the question for me. That effect has already happened for me reading, studying, and going through Alfonso's book. I'm immediately able to see so many of the details in the techniques that he was teaching, and it makes so much more sense to me now. Like, for instance, the circle single hatching going around the fox's tail in order to create the fur. All of these are techniques that you use in your inking in order to give your composition dimension in depth, saturation, to add distance, just like you would in painting. So keep in mind that value is probably the most important thing. Oh, look at, oh my goodness. So day one's prompt for Inktober was backpack. Can you see it? Would that have not been amazing for backpack? See, the clothes are packed on the elephant's back. That would have been such a cool play. I wish I had a ran across this. I wish I had been looking in this book when Inktober initially started because this is literally what I would have done for day one instead of my Dora Explorer. I did adore the Explorer backpack with flower illustration on the front, which, mind you, I am very proud of my Dora the Explorer illustration, but I would have done this. Let's be clear. Um, so just beautiful, even the smaller things. Like you can take, you can use the smaller objects as a references. Like for instance, this cup with the saucer and the pencil. Like you could just pull that out and use just that as a reference, and that would make a cool inking illustration for something, whatever thing you want to do. So you don't like have to do the full page. That's basically what I'm saying. You can draw inspiration from like the small, minutest detail. I'm just flipping through so you guys can see the illustrations in it. Look at here, amazing, amazing reference for anything in Inktober. trust me. Or anything ink and wash, or even once we're outside of Inktober, just a wonderful and amazing reference book for ink, inking projects. And again, this paper will take mediums, guys. I know it'll take watercolor pencils. I know it'll take regular color pencils. So if you wanted to get this and use it as a coloring book, you could. You absolutely could. The paper will actually take it. Yes, yes, amazing. So here we come across what we're doing today. So I wanted to do something because I knew we would be swatching and doing a lot of talking. I don't want to take up a lot of you guys' time. And plus I have to prepare for the live tonight over in Patreon. So I pulled one of the images from this page. I felt kind of particular about this little teapot up here. So that's what we're going to be illustrating or inking, should I say, today. Trying to mimic the line work and get the depth and tone value that Mr. Dotner has achieved with this image. But before we jump into that, I'm just show you the rest of it. Look, how cute is the little chickie popping out of the egg there? Oh my, is it not adorable? Looky, looky. Amazing detail work. Look at the boots. Inktober again. Inktober had a prompt with boots, right? So like the book is full of so many cute little references. Look, amazing, beautiful. I'm in his more specific. Check him out in his polka dot socks, right? Cocktails on the table. Even the line hatching and the line work down to the detail in the ice in the glass. Just beautiful. Beautiful. I think I've shown this book once before. And every single time I'm absolutely amazed with it. Oh, look at the detail work on the keys of the piano. Like, get out. Reggie the Rock Ape. That's Reggie right there, friends. That's Reggie the Rock Ape and his little friends. They rocking it out. I like the frog a lot too. It's almost like I discover something new every time I flip through this book, although I've seen everything several times. Just the amount of details. This knife. Oh, there's one of the bugs I missed before. I don't know if you guys can see it. So, see, there's one of the little bugs from the back of the book. But, you know, minus the bug. Oh, what's that? Where did the red come from? No, absolutely not. Hold on, hold on, hold on. What is happening in my life? Hold on. Lift out. Okay, it lifted out. Catastrophe avoided. Everybody can come off a red alert. Stand down from red alert. All bridge officers stand down. All right. Threw me for a minute. So, love the apple. Again, an image that you could do, like the side table with the candle and the apple on the dish with the knife. Like, that's an entire illustration right there to work on. So, this is just amazing book, friends. Amazing book. That's Louis. Hi, Louis. I know you got some of you guys are dog lovers. I love him. He's so precious. Uh, hmm? Beautiful, right? Come on. I mean, can you get any cuter than a dog in an argyle tie? Does it get any cuter than that? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. The artist is returning. Love that. Porthole view. One page just goes into another, or the horse is running through to this page. Beautiful. But for me, It's the amount of landscape detail you can see in the door in the background. Like, I'm curious as to how long it took him to illustrate these pages. There's Nigel. Nigel. And the animals in here are so dapper. You know, they're so dapper. All the way down to Bill the Badger. Just dapper. Love it. Okay. Got a parade of animals here. I think this would be cute to do as a silhouette drawing if you kind of wanted to paint, practice on animals. Just kind of hone in on one of them and just kind of practice on drawing the outline of the animal and filling it in completely with ink and making it a silhouette. And it would still be a beautiful inking project. Something to think about. You can still do your simple silhouette paintings, as you can see, using just ink. So that's the Ink House book, friends, and we are illustrating from this today. I just wanted to take a minute and flip through that with you. Hopefully that wasn't too boring and you enjoyed that. And this is the illustration I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to be taking extra care to keep my book away from any paint so you guys won't see it on camera. I'll bring it on camera every now and then. Let me see if I can, let's see how we can reset some stuff up here. Because I definitely don't want to get anything else. Okay. Smooth some things around. There we go. Maybe that'll be okay. I'll check chat in just a minute, friends. I haven't looked in since we started flipping through the Ink House book. And I'll go ahead and get this open too. I've already transferred onto my watercolor paper the pencil lining for this one. Changed the diameters of it so it'd be bigger for you guys to see. And we're actually going to do the inking together. Now keep in mind with Inktober, as I told you guys, I am working to become more efficient with my inking and my stroking and my drawing. With that being said, this will be done 85 to 90% of the way with ink. And then I'm going to finish it up with a little color, right? Just to add that last little powwow we need. I'm pulling out the 2 Dormant Line Maker that came in yesterday's set. So that's a 0.3 millimeter nib, a 0.8 millimeter nib. I have other types of liners here. This is the Super Black collection by Creative Mark from Jerry's Autorama. Listen, I've had this set of fine liners for about 2 years. And they're still going strong. Still going strong. Love, 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 love them. Recommend them. You can use something as simple as a Sharpie. There's just a regular Sharpie pen. They work wonders and work well. Why not? We'll throw that in the mix. Just to show you, you don't have to have anything fancy at all. And I need to get, because I think I want to make the outside parameters 0.8. Keep in mind that line weight makes a huge difference in the way your illustration presents itself. So I'm making sure I have some different line weights. Now the only thing with like a Sharpie, it typically only tells you on the package what the nib size is. And I'll be honest, I can't remember for that pen what it is. This is number 8. I'm going to grab a 2.5 just in case we need something super small. Don't think we will, but we'll see. And then I need something sort of in the middle. Let's go for a number. Instead of a number 5, let's go for a 0.45 millimeter. And I'm using different brands. As you guys know, all of your art supplies will work together. And then, of course, there's my Pentel pocket brush pen. You guys knew there was no way I wasn't pulling it out. But I'll use that at the very end for final details if I need to. So let me check the comment section. Then we're going to get this crack-a-lacking because I don't want it to take up too much more of you guys' time. Oh, we're just over an hour. Cool. All right. Let's see. Yes, right. Nessa says, do your best that makes you happy and the right people will find you. Absolutely agree with that. Running them up. Use plenty of water so you get the color separation. I was bummed when I tried mine until someone told me to add more water. Oh, for the Roman Szmals? You know what? That's what I'm starting to see here then in some of them. I'm noticing different color specs in some of them. Something to explore a little more. Thank you for that. Eleanor, Thrifty, Apprentice, one of all. Eleanor, welcome, love. Good to see you. Nessa says she loves sketches too. Stephanie Thrifty, do you know if you rub a glue stick all over the mixing area and wipe off the excess, your paint will stop beating up on it? No, I did not know that, Stephanie. A glue stick? Interesting. I will have to try that. Ruby says yes. Sketches has a collection of Romans. She does. I thought she did. I think she speaks pretty highly of them. Stephanie says she's sorry. I have to run me the woman. I will catch the rest on replay. You bet your art brush and sponges. You bet your paint brushes and sponges. I'll see you back when you get back, Stephanie. Absolutely. Vintage. Oh, beauty. CA? Beautica? Don't know. Hey, Vintage. Let's start there. Welcome in. I'm not sure if you're new to the channel or new to the live. Either way, so glad you joined us. You love Roman Smalls. Good. There's another thumbs up for Roman Smalls being a good one. Let's see. Kaput Mortem to me is like a gothic potter's pink. Never thought about it that way, but it's a beautiful color. I mean, and it seems to have some, color, some chameleon aspects to it. So I can't wait to actually use these in like full blown, full size paintings, where we won't be concentrating mostly on inking. Amok, thanks Thrifty for swatching Roman Szmal paints. Absolutely, I'm not completely done with the swatching. While we're waiting on the ink to dry from the inking, I'm gonna run back and do a glazing on top of each one. It won't take that long. Um, oh my God, where can I buy that book? Oh, you mean the Ink House, sweetheart? It is on Amazon. It is on Amazon. It is an absolutely amazing book, and it is not super expensive at all. I promise. Elizabeth, hey love. Your catch the rewatch. Okay, I'm glad you popped in to say hi. I am. I really, really am. I need to go buy more art supplies and a book. I buy too many art supplies and too many books. Mortimer was like mortuary, mortum, mortum, mortum. Gotcha. Mortuary, mortum, mortum. Cool. Thank you for that, Tisa. Soft E. Mortem. 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 You guys know I can't talk. Stop doing it to me. Mortem. Is that right? Not Mortem. 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 Okay. Hopefully I commit that to memory. Of course, I probably mispronounce it 1,200 other times before I ever get it right. But that's okay. Thank you for that distinction, and I will try to keep it in mind. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee, and then we're getting to inking. I'm starting out with a number 0.8 millimeter nib here, using one of the dormant line makers. That's what they call it. I'll be honest. These don't post that great to me. I noticed yesterday I kept knocking the cap off. And yeah, it's not I don't know if it's just this one, just mine, but it definitely doesn't post as well as, say, like my creative marks. Like, literally won't fall off. But these will. I kept hitting it yesterday. So I'm just gonna take the cap off, set it up there, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start with the outline of everything, including my wood texture. Now, I always suggest that you turn your paper um, to be convenient for you to work, so that you can pull your stroke towards you, whether you're drawing, whether you're painting, no matter what. And as I always encourage, when you're drawing, one of the most important things I ever learned was to draw from your shoulder versus your wrist or your forearm. That way you help keep more consistent stroking, and you help keep lines straighter. Although, let's be completely clear, Thrifty cannot draw a straight line to save his life, and you're about to see that right now. It's to the point that when I draw straight lines, I am literally holding my breath, hoping that it turns out straight. With that being said, this illustration does not necessarily cause for the line to be straight, because the wood, you know, it's sort of a vintage thing. The wood is a little worn. Again, I'm pulling from my shoulder, so I don't have to interrupt and stop. All right, that is going to be what you guys see here. So you see the shelf that our iron is sitting on. The shelf that our iron is sitting on here. So this is the part that we just finished, and I'm going to use a thinner line to run just across the top of that momentarily. So the wood is the only thing I'm going to do with the 0.8, I believe. I'm going to switch over to the point, what was it, 0.45 millimeter. As you can see, much smaller, about half the size, but it's thicker than any of the other ones we're going to be using. So, and I can post that with no problem. And with this one, I'm going to do the outline of my iron. So we'll start with the bottom portion. And the bottom of the iron. And this, you know, this paper has texture, so you do have to move a little slow to get proper ink flow. Make sure you don't get any skips. And keep in mind, when inking on watercolor paper, it is not like using a sketch paper or anything of that nature. So you are going to need to be aware of the fact that you need to give your ink time to dry, especially if you are going to be putting um, any type of water soluble medium on top of it, okay? Now I'm being careful here because, as I said, the texture will cause the pen to kind of skip and maybe even go off the line you're drawing. So I just, I'm holding my pen at a 90-degree angle, making sure that the ball of my surface is making complete contact. I mean, the ball of my pen is making complete contact to the surface, um, so that I keep the same line width, and I am moving um, rather slowly as I do it, to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Now, I'm thinking I want to do the lip of that lid in a smaller line weight. Now, the difference between the pens I'm using now and the one you normally see me use to ink, which is my Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, is that this is a real bristle brush. So the thickness and thinness of the lines are controlled by the amount of pressure you put on the brush as you're inking. Whereas with regular nib inkers, it's easier to keep a consistent line weight because that nib is just one size, regardless of the amount of pressure you put on it. And that's just something to keep in mind, based on my experience. Let me throw that out there. I always have to put in based on my experience, based on my opinion, because everything doesn't work the same way for everyone, and I've discovered that. So I am just giving you guys art according to the world of thrifty, which, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of art rules. I will let you know what they are. Probably gonna do everything I can to break them, but I'll definitely let you know what they are. See. And yes, I'm taking my time. I want my outline to be pretty decent because everything else is going to be hatching work. So our outline will be the main thing holding the structure of our illustration. So yes, take your time. Don't rush. This not I mean, I don't think anyone's in a competition. And if you are, then still start early enough to take your time. Don't rush. I think I want to make, let's see. Now the line weight from the division of the iron, it seems to be a little bit thicker than, but not as thick as the line weight on the outside. So I think I'll save that for a different nib. And it looks that as if the line weight on the cap is the same. So we'll go ahead and do this with the um, 0.45. I'll check comments in a second. Let me just finish the outline so we can get to the nitty gritty of the inking. And for that lid, I'm gonna drop down. Now, what did I initially use? Let's see. Let's gauge this. If I had to guess, that's probably about a 0.3 millimeter nib. Does anybody know off the top of their head what size the average Sharpie pen nib is? I think it's like a 3. I think. That was 4 or 5. I need to go down just one weight size. So I'm gonna look for a 4 right quick. I'm sure I have one. That's a 3.5. Let's see. 1 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter brush. Leave that out. I like that. 2 millimeter chisel. No. 3 millimeter. Well, I don't seem to have a 4 millimeter anymore, so I'm going to have to go with something bigger than the 3, so I need a 3.5. Let me see, here we go. 0.35, and I'll use that to just do the lip here. I am in the mood for some seafood, friends. I think I might have to go eat seafood when this is over with. I got crab on the brain. Oh goodness, that didn't sound right, huh? Well, you know what I meant. Stop that. Okay. All right, and then I want to do, like, there's a thick dividing line that kind of separates the top part of the handle from what's going to be the under part of the handle. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with this size nail as well. Because most of the hatching will be done with. You guys see how I went off kilt there? I'm gonna have to try to work that into the illustration. But that's the whole reason I'm doing Inktober in the consistency that I am, because I want to get better at doing this while minimizing the mistakes I normally make. So there's our outline. Let's get our major ink again. I'm switching over to that 0.3 nib. I need us there. Accent here, 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 and here, here, here. This one there, the little one there, and kind of dividing it there. Alright, and I think we are ready to start doing some major inking here. So I'm starting on the very bottom. Now, if you want to start with putting in shadow, you can. That's completely on you. I'm grabbing that 0.25 nib, and I'm actually going to grab a ruler, because I need to make, and I don't care if it's not completely straight, because again, we sort of got a wonky wood here. Yep, nope, it's not. So I'm gonna have to freehand follow it, and I want to go based on this wood. It looks like it's like directly on top. So I'm gonna try to freehand this. Don't talk about it. Definitely don't talk about me, and I'm gonna try to freehand it and keep it the same distance away from that second line all the way down my paper. So what are you guys doing? Who's drawing with me? Who's working on what? Who is working on what? Tell me. Tell me what you're doing. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Let's get some. Let's start. I guess let's start with the. Start with creating some shape across the bottom. Now, I'm switching back over to that 0.3 nib, and we are going to start with some single hatching, curving around. The hatching that I'm doing, I'm literally curving around the object in order to create shape and form. My lines are not straight, but I'm going around the object, and I've kind of shown you guys, I showed you guys that in another video if I'm not mistaken. And basically I'm just copying what I see. It's almost like paint what you see. Literally, that's what I'm doing. There's going to be, let's see. If it comes down there, it's almost here. Then I'm going to add that in thickly, right? Because everything over here, I'm still drawing in a circular motion. It's going to be cross-hatched. So then I'm going to pull straight down. Circle across, pull straight down. And then we're going to have a little cross-hatching. Excuse me. This is a little thicker, sort of like layered cross-hatching. And then from this angle, it sort of pulls down at a diagonal and then gets straight. I noticed that the hatching is pretty evenly spaced apart. Some of them longer, some of them shorter. Of course, I'm taking some artist liberty here. Yes. residual over here. Don't want it to feel sort of left out, but most of that is white. And then the line work here is a little closer together. And the line work directly under is a little bit thicker. So I'm going to switch over to that 0.45 I was using, and I'm actually going to increase the dark under there just a little. It's pretty thick, you know. The ink gets pretty heavy right there. This may take a while, thing. Buckle in, we're inking together. I'm gonna try to rush through it without rushing through it, if that makes sense. Let's start with the bottom. So this is done in sections. I'm gonna turn this way so I can pull towards me. I'm switching back over to my 3mm, and basically what's happening here is that we have a contour that starts at the top. Let me see. Starts here. And it literally contours around like that. Keep in mind, I'm not the most proficient illustrator in the world. I always tell you, there are so many other people out there that are better at so many other things, you know. This is more straight, but it's still circles, and they are a little bit more spaced evenly going down. So I'm going to try to keep it as even as possible. Okay, and then across the back again, we're doing the same thing, but I'm noticing that it doesn't go any higher than the curve there. And we're still keeping it, although it's more hatching, it's still spaced pretty evenly. Still keeping that curve. And see, like Alfonso's book, you know, it broke down the hatching sort of step by step. Here I'm just kind of looking at the overall picture and trying my best to basically emulate that. Here we're going to have hatching that is kind of evenly spaced, but not necessarily the same length all the way down. I have to look as I work, see what's going on. Okay. So all of this now has straight hatching going down, like so. Keeping it even still. Again here. Again, keeping in mind you are spacing it out pretty evenly and following the curve of the iron. Nothing about my strokes are actually straight at this point. They're literally curving. When you get to the middle, they'll be more straight, and as you move towards the opposite end, they'll sort of curve around in the opposite direction, if that makes any sense. Right? So like, they're not necessarily so uniform, because I'm making almost a box there. This is going to be so interesting how this turns out. And then the same thing here, going around, keeping the hatching pretty uniform. Stop trying to be so perfect about it. See. And basically what I'm doing, I'm working from the bottom up. At least that's the idea here. Work on the bottom up. And then we're gonna have quite a bit of shadow line work going on here. I'm just gonna get it started. I already know I'm gonna be doing a lot of detail cleanup on the shadow work. That's okay. Okay, add more pressure to my pool now so we can get more ink flow down. It's gonna start to get darker. Whereas I was using the first couple of strokes to just kind of itch in where I wanted it to be. With this one, I'm actually more so adding in the actual shadow here. And then there's cross hatching. That's actually quite a bit of cross hatching. Let's see if I can do it and keep it straight. Based on the way it is. Goodness, friends. This is so interesting. Not bad. I get quiet, you guys know what's going on. I'm concentrating. I'll stop and check comments in just a second. I'm trying to make sure I pretty much got that kind of about as possible right as I can get it. Okay. Think that's better. Think that's better. Think that's better. Think that's better. What do you guys think? I think that's better. That's pretty much giving me the feel of the bottom. And this is all. This is what it's about, friends. Experimenting, especially when it's something that you've never done before. Let's see. I'm going to start moving this one up. And it literally had this evenly all the way across up to that point. That was pretty straightforward. Here we have line work, introducing that curve, and I don't know, I kind of think I want to switch nails and go even smaller in there. I'm going back to that 0.25 because this is a little what's the word I'm looking for? is there's an entire hatch line. It kind of curves all the way around and stops about there. Maybe even a little bit lower, closer to that curve. And then all of this is individually hatched in evenly, going all around the bottom. I'm trying to talk loud enough for you guys can hear me. I keep reminding myself that I don't have the mic on. And then in here, they're going to get super, super close together. And then across the back, that seems to be darker there. And then from that darkness, you're going to move down to basically parallel, hatching straight across. And it's going to go all the way down the inside part of the handle and start to get shorter towards the tip of that. Okay. And then there is some, excuse me, there's going to be some circle hatching here to kind of give that application, and then it'll just sort of go up like that a little bit. And maybe a little bit up there. Kind of emphasize that curve. And then I'm going to do a little like that, just because I need to hide that mistake I made earlier. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically this entire side up until, let me see, how big is that gap? It should have came to here, huh? See, you start to see that curve is where that stops. So technically, this should all be a part of the bottom hatching. And just to sort of pull it up to the same level, which is why that hatching is just kind of going in like that. Okay, all right, that makes more sense now. And then we have some very close, just ridiculously close circle hatching right here, up to the bottom part of that handle. And technically it should reach or cover that entire section, like so. Alright, I'm gonna check comments for a second, take just a break, see what you guys are up to. This is gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. Mortem. 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 Or mortem, either. Mortem. Supposedly is used to come from dead bodies. What? If you all don't know, I am an archaeologist, so I swear I'm not being weird. Yes, she is an archaeologist, heart, hands down, hearts up, eyes to the sky, 100% thousand truth. That is her profession, and dead bodies? Eh, okay. If only you could see my second screen. Um, What's the best paper for inks? Running them up. X. What's the best paper for inks? If anyone knows, do jump in the comment section. Now, I'll give you my opinion based on my experience. The paper that I have found inks the best to me is a slightly textured mixed media paper because it's not super grainy. It's not going to be rough or medium. Or even some fine grain watercolor papers can have bumpy textures that'll cause the pen to skill. And of course, with any watercolor paper, you're going to always want to give the ink time to actually soak down into the paper and give it time to dry. Um, Now, sketch paper is, of course, sketchbook paper is generally geared and formulated for graphite and pen work. So, in my opinion, I've had the best experience from with pen work on dry media paper, paper that's geared towards dry media. Now, of course, does anybody else have an experience? They please jump in and answer her question if you haven't already. But for me, I like to ink on sketching paper and drawing paper. It just so happens that with Inktober, I love to push the boundaries. And a lot of the Inktober work I'm doing is actually on like actual watercolor paper. See here, I'm working on an Inktober sketch. I haven't added any color to it yet, but I got all of my line work done for the fuchsia. I just need to erase out the pencil. Now here, remember I was telling you about the illustration in the beginning of the book with the little mouse coming out the wall. Here where I penciled it in and I did the initial inking work. So I'm like forcing myself to use textured watercolor paper for the most of Inktober. However, um, you don't necessarily. I've found that the ink takes better on other papers. Like for instance, yesterday when we did the illustration in the Skillman and Burns book, I feel like this book took the ink better than the watercolor paper is taking it. It just required time to dry as well. Excuse me, because it's a super smooth paper. The ink, especially the thicker and heavier I went with it, it did sort of puddle a little bit, but once it dried down, it left super crisp lines. So I think it worked okay on this Stillman and Burns. But you know what? Let's go a little bit further than that because the initial part of my Inktober was done in hold on one second. Where's the sketchbook? Is it down here? Let's see. Where is it? 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 Is this it? Yes, this is it. So the initial part of my Inktober was started in this 100 ml, I think it's like 90-pound tone gray watercolor paper. Yeah. Um, got a lot to say about this paper. Not much of it's gonna be good, so we're just gonna skip over all that. Let's just say I started my first 4 drawings here and decided afterwards that I needed to switch to another type paper, which is this paper you see me working on here, which is 100% cotton paper by Light Wish. But initially I was working on this paper, and let me just show you. Now, of course, we've already seen this one come out on the channel. You guys have seen this on mine, showing it to you. This was day 2. The prompt was discovery. I used gouache and my Pentel pocket brush pen to do this one. The ink took pretty well on it. Didn't take as long to dry on this less textured paper than it is on like. Although I'll be honest, this ink is drying pretty quick on this paper. I'm kind of impressed by that. But let me just show you. For day 3, I think day 3 was like boot or something. Of course, I didn't do boot. I wanted to do an illustration from that Alfonso Dunn book. So I did the mushroom. And this paper took the ink so well. I think the ink did really well here. And surprisingly enough, with it being a watercolor paper, I don't feel like it just soaked up the ink to the point where it would run out. One of the reasons I don't like necessarily using like alcohol markers, which is an alcohol ink, on watercolor paper, is because watercolor paper tends to be the most absorbent of the papers out there. So I feel like it's, it treats dry medium a little rough, a little on the bad side, like a redhead stepchild, to be honest. So for me, dry media papers, I'll show you one I like a lot. Since we're on it, here is one of my oldest sketchbooks and one I still go to right now, especially when I'm doing color pencil work. This is a Canson Universal Sketch Pad. Listen, I like this paper. And this is the Canson Artist Series. So it is formulated a little bit differently from like their regular papers. But I love doing color pencil and ink work in this book. I do little studies on different things in color pencils just so I can become more efficient with the color pencil work that I do. And some oranges I haven't finished yet. But I think that this is a great sketch paper and a great paper for both graphite and ink as well as color pencil. It takes it all pretty well. And this is a super, super affordable book with it being Canson. So, you know, some pumpkins I need to do. Okay, so, well, I guess you see what the next illustration in that book will be. But there's just some, my 2 cents about inking and the papers that take it. Let's Eleanor says nobody buys more art supplies than I do, including thrifting. I've become addicted to the shopping, and it only took a short time to get that way. Yes, I do feel like shopping for art supplies is a completely different hobby than actually painting or drawing or sketching. But I don't know, Eleanor. Yeah, I don't even, let me say this, I'm blessed. So a lot of the art supplies I don't even buy. They just show up unexpected, out the blue, randomly throughout I mean, like, and there are packages that come from all over the United States on a very regular basis. So I don't tend to have to sit up and build a cart, knock on wood, thank whatever power you believe in for the blessings that I have. So Oh, I love Roman Szmal paints. Hello, Diane. How are you? So glad you're here. Oh, Elizabeth, you made it back. Yay. I can't even spell Smalls right. Listen, I was like, Roman Smalls. What is the first time I ever heard the brand? I was like, what is that? I can't spell Schminka. I could barely say Schminka for a minute. Schminka paints are high. Let's be clear. Schminka products are high. It's just that simple. I don't care how much you rant and rave to me how great the quality is. I mean, I've tried them, and I've also tried Core, and I've also tried Daniel Smith. And I believe that Daniel Smith and Core give Schminka a run for his money, and they're not as expensive because I can get them right here in the United States by a U.S. manufacturer. So, yeah, Schminka paints are high. I don't buy Schminka paints high. I can't afford them. There we go. I am with you on that, Amok. I'm with you on that. I mean, take that back. I could afford them. I just don't want to spend the money on them, and I've already tried someone else's, and I don't feel like they're as good or great toward than any of the other professional paints I already have in my arsenal. Now, I'm not poo-pooing on anybody who has them, anybody who loves them, anybody who spends their hard-earned money on them. Absolutely, by all means, if that's what works for you, Thrifty is over here toasting a cocktail to you for that. But for me, based on what I've tried, tried them from other artists, and based on the comparison of quality to some of the other paints that I have, I don't see them being worth the hype. But that's just me. The handle is beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. He is so 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 good at his sketches. Oh, thank you. Y'all nice to me. I love the fact that y'all nice to me. I I never mow thrifty vids. I never miss thrifty vids. Oh, And you're always welcome. Thrifty is not just his name, it's a watchword. The more I save, the more I can shop. Absolutely. There it is, Eleanor. There it is. There are so many yummy products out there. You know what I mean? So many yummy. So many, not so yummy products. You have the products that you go to, like the Hershey store and buy, and then you have the products that you got out of the bubblegum machine. Everything has a difference of quality and a difference of price. It is my goal to search the world to find the most amazing quality products that are going to keep you in the realm to put eggs and sausage and toast on your breakfast table in the morning. I'm just saying. So, and a lot of people will ask me, well, Thrifty, why do you so many student grade and budget products? Why not? Especially if they're great quality. Why not? I mean, anybody who's watching my channel or anybody who goes through my thrifty review playlist will see that I have tried a plethora of professional paints. I have reviewed a lot of them, and I actually suggest a lot of them as long as they're budget friendly and economical and you can get them at a deal. Like I love Daniel Smith, but I'm not going to tell you, hey, run out and buy Daniel Smith open stock or full price. No, I'm going to tell you, wait till a sale come on and then grab you a mixing set at the best price you can so that you have a great quality paint, but you were still thrifty about it. Thrifty doesn't mean getting bad things. It means being smart about your buying. That's what thrifty is to me. Um, Da Vinci also gives Schminke a run for their money based on the size as well. Laura, hey love, hi. I want to hug you. I wish I could hug you. It's so good to see you. And you are absolutely right. Da Vinci is an amazing brand of paint made right here, and the quantity of paint that they give is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was recently in Rome and bought 3 pans of my Mary Blue. Oh my God, so amazing. Tisa, I've heard really, 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 really great things. I've heard really great things about my Mary Blue. I want to try them. I think there is a Jean Haynes mixing set of those paints that I've had in and out of my Amazon cart for a minute now. If I'm not mistaken, you know what? I have to check to see because you got me. I remember you posting about them initially, or maybe you said something to me about them inside the creation station. I can't quite remember right off the top of my head, but I do remember you mentioning them to me before, and then I went looking for um, and see, this is what I do, guys. This is how I build my Amazon carts. We taking a little interlude here. So the way I build my Amazon carts is I will pull things out of general listing that I won't drop them in the cart, and then go to my cart and hit save for later, so that I have a save for later list full of items that I'm interested in getting off Amazon. And what I do is I'll go through this list every day and see what prices have dropped, if it's a little bit lower, what's on sale. Like tomorrow, the 8th and the 9th, starts Prime Day. So what I'll do is the first thing I'll do before going through any general listing is go to my save for later list and see what's on sale, because I know those are the products that I'm really interested in getting into the studio and sharing with you guys. For instance, I've heard so much about this Fias paper, 100% rag cotton paper. Chrissy has been using it. I had some people inside my live talking about it. And the paper is $14.99. I mean, seriously. 5 by 7 inch paper, 140 pounds, super weight. I don't even remember how many of them comes in there. It's a pack, 120 pieces of 5 by 7, 140-pound heavyweight watercolor paper for $14.99. Now, in my head, that's thrifty. that is thrifty, and I've heard some great things about it, so I have it there just in case. It may go on sale tomorrow. If not, $14.99 is not a bad price for it. But back to what we were looking for. I have some M grams in there because I have a lot of gouache on my save for later because as you guys know, I'm going through the whole gouache, professional designer gouache showdown right now, which started with the Shinhan gouache, and we do have the review for the Shinhan gouache coming up maybe Sunday. I need to get to it soon. Um, so a lot of this is gouache, but if I'm not mistaken, I have. I thought I had it in my save for later. Yes, 111 items in here, so just bear with me. Oh, okay, so no, Daniel Smith. Oh, well, that's no longer available. Let's just delete that one. Okay, y'all getting some personal stuff now. Okay, so it's not there. Let's check my list. It must be inside. Is it in the artist wish list? Nope, it's not. I'm telling you, I have it on one of my lists because you got me interested in it. Is it in the tuna? Ah, there it is. Mary Blue, the Gina Dickerson art set, watercolor paints, 12 milliliter tube, 6. It is a curated set based on this artist, but I think the colors look really clean and cute just based on what I'm seeing in the advertisement. And the list that I actually have them on is my 2023-2024 art supply gift idea shopping list. The, the people in my family, my partner, mom, they're the ones that have access to this list. And yeah, it's got some pretty high price items on it because I figure, hey, if y'all gonna buy me a gift and I don't have to spend the money, make me love it. So there's a lot of things on this. It's like Michael Harding. Michael Harding is a paint I really, really want to try. I've heard a lot about it. You guys know I love Kuretake, and I have quite a bit of them, but I have the full Kuretake set on there. So this is, this is the list of the stuff I'm trying to pimp my loved ones, my loved ones for because the price tags are ridiculous. But yeah, so definitely I want to try them a Mary Blue. Tisa, you got me interested in that quite a while ago. Excuse me. Let's see. Where were we? Where were we? Where were we? View, hey, View. Welcome in, love. So happy to see you. Laura says you deserve all the love. Thank you, love. I like to try that brand as well. They look super vibrant and intense. Yes, they do. Yes, they really, really do. Thank you, love, my love. These are a good price tube set on Amazon. There's a good price tube set on Amazon. I bet that's what he's looking up. Great minds think. Absolutely. 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 Oh, 23, that set that you're talking about, Tisa, um, I have that set on one of the lists too. I just happened to run across that particular curated set first because those colors look really nice and notice they're on the list that I don't have to spend my money on. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Eleanor, do you know whether that particular Canson book is sold at Michael's? Not all Canson books are. Where did I get that book from? I think I may have ordered it off of Amazon, Eleanor. I think. Yeah, I've had it for a couple of years. I want to say it was either Amazon. It had to be Amazon. Because I don't remember getting it from Michael's. Because I only shop at Michael's when I can use a coupon because I think Michael's prices are ridiculously high for the same stuff that you can find other places at almost a half or a third of the price. Um, okay, cool. Send me the link, Tisa. Well, Mary Blue, I have five of which I found on Amazon Prime deal for 30 bucks. The French Blue is a chef's kiss. Well, tomorrow is Prime Day, so I'm hoping to, we're gonna go ahead and get those in the studio so I can do a review on them. Thank you, View, for thumbs up and sharing. Friends, if you're here already and you haven't, go ahead and sprinkle a little love. Follow in View's footsteps. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to follow in her footsteps and share, by all means, do it. View always, always, always shares my videos. I'm so wonderfully grateful for that. I know personally I've had exposure because of you sharing my videos. I have had people literally tell me that out of their own, well, typing with their own fingers. So thank you so much for all the support you show me and all of the basically advertisement you do for me. I cannot even from the bottom of my heart express how grateful I am for that. B says I have been using watercolors more and more since you have been on. Good. I'm glad. It's a contagious, wonderful, lovely medium that you can paint anything with. Absolutely. I adore it. They sure are too high. Yeah, they're high. They're high. Yeah, I'm sure we're talking about Schminkel. Yes, tomorrow is Prime Day View, the 8th and the 9th. Prime Day for October. There's always two during a year. And you guys know I'm always on top of it. So starting Prime in the morning. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to construct a list, both the 8th and the 9th, which you guys will find on the community section of the Thrifty Apprentice YouTube channel. And you will find inside paints, pencils, and pastels, the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group. And if you happen to just follow the Thrifty Apprentice on Facebook, you'll also be able to get access to those lists where I'm actually going to create a list both days of items that are high quality, that are on sale, that I would definitely recommend if you don't have in your arsenal, that you give them a try. And I will release that list both days in a row, one for the 8th and one for the 9th. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because if you're familiar with the way Prime Day operates, sometimes it'll be on sale one day, sometimes it'll be on sale the other day, sometimes it'll be on sale both days. So that's why I'll do it that way. All right, let's get to crack a lacking. Let's get some more of this done. Picking up, going back to my and all of this is dry now wonderfully, so I don't have any issues putting my hand in anything. Now if you lotions, oils on your hand, you may want to put something under it, like say a studio rag, maybe a paper towel, because you don't want to get lotions and oils from your hand in your watercolor paper. Keep in mind it will affect the sizing if you get, too much outside chemical damage on your watercolor paper. So I'm just showing you what I would do. I have sweaty palms. That's why I do this. Not that I have any lotion or anything going. Okay, so is this still in shot? Let's get this back in shot. And we're gonna work on the lid here a little bit. So I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna try to angle the pen down so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll start with just a little hatching right across the top. And this pen is starting to run out of ink. Listen, friends, if your pen starts to run out of ink, don't throw it away. Don't throw it away till the last bit of ink has run out of it. I'm going to tell you why. Because it makes for amazing light lines. You know? It really, really does. It makes for amazing light lines. And keep your directional. Okay, so this has, and I did not notice before. Let's get that in. Okay. And then these two sides are divided up. Now this one is going to have more evenly spaced out hatching that gets thinner as it gets to the neck. And then we're gonna have circular close layered hatching on this side. And layered hatching is simply just adding more hatching in one direction on top of the hatching you're already doing. So it's going to create shadow and depth in that corner in order to force the simulation of roundness. So we've talked about this several different times. I'm going to show you really quickly in case I haven't shown you before. And it's going to be a real quick demonstration. So here is, I'm going to not use that. Let's use this. So here's a circle. And I think I showed you an example on a leaf too. So here's a circle. When you're doing your line work and your hatching work, does it make sense in your head that your line work would run straight, even, and parallel on a object that has shape? Because it's not going to show shape hatching that way. However, if your line work, your hatching for your shadow is on a circle object, or let's just say a cylinder object, your hatching is going to curve around the object. That way you keep the shape in the structure to continue to show that that object is round, right? Same thing with a circle. Curve around with your linear work in order to keep structure and shape. You've seen Christy. Anyone who watches Christy, I don't know, can draw a leaf. Why can't you draw a leaf right quick? I'm drawing a crazy leaf at that. Sort of like a begonia leaf. You know, this is sort of how a begonia leaf will look, right? So if you were drawing a begonia, the linear work that you do would follow the direction of the leaf and not run straight down. And each subsequent vein you added in would then curve around the leaf, giving it shape, versus running through the leaf straight, which would detract from the shape. So hopefully that makes sense. So when you keep hearing me say, you know, curve your hatching to follow the direction, that's what I mean. All right, so back to what we were doing. Let's see. I had no idea. Where are we on live? How long have we been on? Ooh, a long time. Long time. Okay, come on, Ken. Let's speed up some stuff. You're doing too much talking, definitely. All right, and there's gonna be a lot to edit, and sometimes YouTube does not actually want to allow me to edit. After the videos have gotten to a certain length, it takes forever for the editor to load. It does. So these seem pretty evenly spaced, kind of splashed across the front there. And then everything on this side definitely curved and is much closer together with the hedge. Up to the corner, up to the end, following all the way down the shape. Keeping it hatching much closer together is going to help the shape. And since we're edited, let's go ahead and do that little inside shadow part. So I'm going to turn, and we're going to start this little area right in here where the lid is inside the lip. And we are going to make even hatching, or as even as you can, all the way around, just like so. Don't take much. Excuse me. Doesn't take much. Add a few more strokes in there, just so we can get some shadow. And then there'll be a few strokes coming here, kind of following over the lip. Let's see, friends, where are we? Alright, and I guess we can continue with this side. So this is what we were, because this is what we were working on. And then the hatching actually starts to space out pretty evenly and come to about the same length up until we get to here. About here. And that hatching will go all the way across. But everything up until that point seems to run just short of all the way across. Okay. Every day is prime day for me, not just paint. Shoes, needlework supplies, and more. Maybe a sickness. Sorry, not sorry. Listen, every day can be prime day for most people because if you shop it the way I do, then you can always get something. Because as long as Klarna, Afterpay, um, Affirm exists, that'll give you these credit lines and allow you to break payments up. I think it's one of the greatest things and one of the worst things that they ever did, especially for someone who is a avid shopper or art supply snob or whatever your shopping thing may be. The fact that you can buy all of it and break it up into 4 equal payments and not break the bank all at once is also another great way to buy professional supplies as well, my friends. Just FYI. Take this all the way across now. And then this is kind of like that. And we're going all the way across to the other side. We're still circling, but we are at this point trying to space it about the same amount width apart, and they get a little closer, same width, but a little closer here, because we're going to do some hatching in just a second. Okay, and then literally there is going to be some even amount of hatching, trying to keep it spaced about the same, and they get shorter with each one. Although they're spaced the same, they get shorter as you go across, and I'm pulling straight down. And then it's going to be just a bit here and one here. This is one of those aspects. If you follow Lindsay, you hear Lindsay always tell you, draw what you see. That's exactly what this is. Drawing what you see. That's literally what I'm doing. Or what I think I see. And if I don't see it, I don't add it. This is sort of how I've been running this the whole time. And it seems to be working out okay. I think we're starting to come up with an image that is remarkably similar to what's there. All right, let's see if we can get the middle section done. I do want to kind of move it on along here. So um, we don't have any cross hatching. The middle is pretty straightforward, actually. You got a couple of hatching lines to indicate that your object is round, really. That's about it. Nothing too major. It stays kind of sporadic down towards the bottom, and it starts to get a little bit more aggressive as we go towards the top. And the line weight gets a little closer in this area, and it is reaching across, continuing the curve though. Now I'm going to add some stack curvature over here just to add a little bit more darkness. All right. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. And I'm trying to see if I think I kind of got the general impression of everything other than the nozzle. Let's knock that out right quick. And then we're going to make a decision about whether we're going to put ink on this now. I mean, paint on this now or paint on this later. Let's get the nozzle done. Again, I'm going to turn my paper where it's easier for me to work. And, okay, so this is interesting. This is going to be hatched very thinly all the way down for just a couple of strokes. And you'll understand why. I'm trying to see if I can get it all. Get it all. Two. Maybe a couple more. There may be like one more. Not too much. That's there. We have that one and that one. And then we have this one that curves in and goes down. Same thing here. A little bit closer. Then on the opposite end of this one, that one curves and goes here. And then every subsequent one from there runs all the way up until you get, I'm going to put my last one on here first. That way everything else can kind of sort of fall into place. Yeah. Definitely. And then we got some cross hatching coming down this side. And it's gonna run all the way down until it stops about right there. And then I want to thicken it up. And the curve just a little bit. Like so. Okay. Let's just assist and see what we have here. Take a look. It's in a book. It's a reading rainbow. I can go. Okay. Okay. I think overall I'm pretty pleased with that. For today's video, of course, I could take much more time, excuse me, put much more work into it, but I think that's gonna be good for today's video. Now, I still want to give the ink time to dry. I haven't decided if I'm gonna add any color to it, but I will have to if we're really looking at these Roman Szmal paints, right? So let's go back in here for a second. We're going back in for some glazing. We want to see how thick those paints eventually gets. Excuse me. How much they'll cover. I don't know what's wrong with me between yesterday and today. I haven't been the neatest with my swatching sheets, and you guys know I'm pretty particular about the way my swatching sheets look. So I don't know what's been going on with me. It's like just get her done. They deal very nicely with with saturation. I mean, beautiful paint. No if and but no if and or buts about that beautiful paint. But what I want to know is, are they truly better than like Daniel Smith? Are they truly better than Core? I mean, the transparency that I'm getting from them, in all honesty, there needs to be a trick. And the reason I'm saying that is because I get the same level of transparency from like Paul Rubens' professional paints. So, so I'm definitely gonna be swatching these out in much heavier, larger water swatches so I can see the color separation that was mentioned earlier. But is that like is that the caveat? I mean, is that the these knees of the paints that they have a bit of a chameleon effect to them? Transparent, definitely so far. But so are a lot of paints. So I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what distinguishes these from any other top quality brands. Because let's be clear, if you're familiar with professional paint, then you know that once you get into the professional range, you talking as far as the differences between what makes one better than the other. You're talking stuff semantics just based on opinions in all honesty. Pretty colors though. Definitely pretty colors. We're gonna be doing quite a bit of painting with this paint, trust me. You will see this paint set over and over and over and over again over the next couple of weeks as we move through Inktober. We'll eventually end up doing a review of them after Inktober. But I do have some product reviews that are coming up during the month, and we may end up doing a product review live next Monday live, actually. It all just depends. I'm pinching the water out a little bit before I actually go into the pan, so I don't pick up a bunch of watery paint versus somewhat of a mass tone, so we can definitely see the colors. Mm. I don't know, that ultramarine light seemed a little weak to me. Ultramarine light seems just a little weak, just a little bit. Now, don't nobody get upset if you're a lover of these paints and I say something about them that don't sit well with you, because I'm gonna give my honest opinion. And if it doesn't sit well with you, I'm sorry that it didn't sit well, but I'm not sorry about my opinion, and that's how I felt about the paints now. So that ultramarine is a little weak, but other than the ultramarine light, I'm sorry, is a little weak. But other than that one, so far so good. As I said, I love the transparency I'm getting here. Even as I glaze the second layer, they're staying super clean and transparent. So I started watching this show last night. Um, it's called Evil. I don't know what it's on. Hulu or Netflix maybe, but the whole thing is that there's this lady. She's a psychologist that used to work for the state, and now she's been sort of recruited to work for this team that works with the Catholic Church that investigates like supernatural phenomenon, whether it's like a position or like something that's listed as a miracle. And basically, what each episode is going through, and it's a fictional show, but it's going through and it's like kind of deep trying to debunk whether these things that's been reported as a miracle or a possession or true, or if it's something that the person is breaking from psychologically. It is such a good show, guys. I got so wrapped up in that show yesterday that before I knew it, I wasn't doing any artwork. I was sitting there binge watching it, and I looked at my clock, and it was 3 a.m. in the morning Central Standard Time. I was like, if I don't get in this bed, there will not be a live tomorrow, because I'm not going to be woke to do it. So I had to force myself to turn the TV off so I can go ahead and go to sleep. That show is so good. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's called Evil. And it's I know the name might throw some people off, but it's a really good show. It's not like trying to perpetuate evil or anything. It's actually about the fight between good and evil and good winning or trying to win anyway, or the balance of the two. Either way, really good show, guys, so far. I'm really enjoying it. Y'all should go check it out. Um, so that's what I've been watching in between Star Trek, which are all reruns for me. So there we have it, friends. There is the illustration that was done out of the Inkhouse book. Go get yourself a copy. You will absolutely love it. Don't forget to check out yesterday's video so you can jump into the giveaway for the Dormant Line and Wash set, the Alfonso Don Pen and Ink Workbook, as well as the Stillman and Burn Zeta Series Mixed Media Sketchbook. So be sure to go jump into that. I'm gonna look at the comment section right quick, and then I'm gonna check the time, depending on how long we've been on. I may start adding color to this, or I may just leave it white, you know, and let it be a white iron by adding in some gray tone shadows to it. I may just do that. Let's check comments right quick, see what you guys are talking about. Eleanor, excuse me. Eleanor, I love when the FedEx truck shows up, but after the unboxing fun, all the stuff needs swatching. I hate swatching. Elizabeth, welcome back. I'm okay. I'm a swatcher. I don't mind swatching. Okay, depending on how big the set. Depending on how big the set is, sometimes I just don't. I just don't want to, but yeah. Um, I like this buff titanium though. In comparison to like Daniel Smith buff titanium, hmm, I think Daniel Smith buff isn't it a little cleaner? Let's see. I think it might be. maybe not. Let's see. I'm just curious. And as you guys know, when I buy my Daniel Smith paints, I buy the paint sticks and cut them down and put them in the half pans because it's the same exact amount of paint that you're getting with the tube. Well, actually, it's more paint than you get in the tube. Especially if you're buying a 5 milliliter tube, it's way more paint than you get in the tube. But it's the same price. Go figure. Daniel Smith, don't be listening because I don't want y'all to raise the price of your paint sticks after hearing me say this. But literally, okay, so that's Daniel Smith buff. I just feel like that's cleaner. It's definitely cleaner. Before I even swatch them out side by side, that's definitely a cleaner color. Now let's get some Roman Szmal's buff on here. One seems to be just a tad bit warmer than the other. If I had to say they're pretty close though. They are definitely pretty close. I'm gonna have to look up the pigment number for for that buff because I threw the wrapper away. Okay, they are similar. They are super close. I really can't tell too much of a difference. I think that the Roman Szmal's buff may just be a tad bit warmer. Just a tad bit warmer than but yeah, very close, very close. I've become a lover of both, so I really wanted to know. Where are we? Um, we're literally almost at 3 hours, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up at this point. I didn't realize we had been on this long. I'm having so much fun with everything. Um, I really want to add just a little color because I don't want it. Let's see. Let's mix a grape right quick and see what happens. So I'm grabbing the Sienna, burnt Sienna color. I forget what it's called. We're gonna mix that out. My coffee is super cold at this point. I'm gonna mix that out and we're gonna see what type of neutral we're gonna get by mixing in the regular ultramarine blue, and it immediately went green. I mean, this green too. I really need to pay attention to the pigments in here. Look how green that is. That did not neutralize right away. Which is interesting because that is red. That brown, without a doubt, has a red undertone to it. Ultramarine is a single pigment PB29. So why those two colors are mixing to make more of a gray neutral, more of a green neutral, I have no idea. It definitely has a green undertone to it. All right, let's go a different route. We're gonna grab some of the burnt sienna color, and we'll grab some ultramarine. Not burnt sienna, burnt umber. I'm sorry. And let's mix those and see if they go neutral like I'm used to. Ah, there we go. There we have a neutral. You see the difference? Like, I was expecting that to be a cooler neutral, and this one to be warmer. But it's warmer, but it definitely has a green undertone to it. No doubt about it. 3 days, 6 hours from the wind. That is almost a green. So yeah, I guess I would go with the burnt umber and ultramarine mixture. So let's see. Let me add water to that. First, let me get the mixture with the green out. Definitely don't want that. Add water to, a little bit more water to it, and so definitely have gray here. Just add in shadow. Because that is actually the under part of that handle. I'm just putting down a light watercolor. I'm not trying to disturb my ink work or cover up any of the ink work at all. And this is one of the great things I like about ink and wash, is that you really do all of the work with the pen. I mean, you could do your outlining and do most of the work with the paints, which I will show you guys in an upcoming video. But you know, for most of Inktober, I'm gonna let the actual pen do most of the work. Absolutely. And I'm gonna take time and build layers of saturation up on this um, to give it color and shading. Mhm. And you know, since we've been all cutesy with everything, it's wet. It's with the wood. See, I'm finna start painting with the wood. And I'm really doing this because, you know, this is also a test of the paper too. I want to see if it's going to start buckling as I add water to it. And we'll grab some of that, um, something sienna like, or something like that's supposed to be like yellow ochre. I'll have it more together with the review for the color names. So it's sort of a yellow ochre tone. I'm sorry, raw sienna, natural sienna light. Is that what it was called? Natural something light. Indeed. Just kind of brushing along. Now the truth of the matter is, we could have did the wood texture. Um, we definitely could have done the wood texture with the pen, and we still can go back in and add the wood texture with the pen, but I'm gonna do it with paints. Just putting down some base color for right now. Let me go back and grab some more of that shadow tone we was using, that gray I made. I'm gonna go in here, and we need it down the side here, a little bit more thickly. and we would need it anywhere else. And we had ultramarine, and we were mixing the sort of burnt umber of the color with it. Mixing a little bit more water. And that one actually has a little bit more blue in it, so it's going to be a little darker. A bit more bluish looking. Okay. And I definitely want to add a little bit more that burnt sienna to that. It's just a little bit too blue. And then let's add, trying to get my balance right. There we go. And then I add more water to it. Because essentially, with a really light wash of water, and I'm really just using water to, at this point, plain water to spread that color I just put down across. Now I noticed, there we go. That's what we were talking about with the more water, the more the colors are split apart. Wow. Okay, people. Okay. Hold the phone. Hold the microphone. Hold on. Cause that's pretty awesome. That's pretty freaking awesome, yo. And I'm just using a lot of water to spread it out. Now the thing is, the more water I add, the more of the brown I can actually see versus the gray tone, in all honesty. Which is pretty cool. Um, yep. So what's kind of baffling me is, okay, it's gonna take me a minute to get used to these paints. I see that now. The color shift does make sort of a difference when you add more water to it, and I'm trying to maintain the gray, but the more water you add to it, the more it does kind of break apart. It's like I can't get enough blue in it. Okay. And I have to layer in some areas just to build in this shadow and saturation. So I'm definitely going to be working on this in the background. I'll make a post showing how I continue to add the color to it for you guys and get all of this finished up. But I am happy that we got to do the illustration. We got to ink it together, which is the primary reason for today's video, because it is an Inktober ink and wash video. So absolutely. Yeah, my friends, I like the fact that they split. That's pretty cool, but certain times that I don't want it to happen, and it seems to be happening. So I'm really gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and give what I put on here time to dry, step back, taking assessment of what I have. I think I damaged the paper a little bit already. Which is really good for me to note right now. So I want to give it time to dry and see what becomes of it. The great thing about patchwork is it makes it easy to know where to put your darker shadows. And I am keeping everything wet so it'll blend softly without leaving any harsh lines in any other areas. But friends, that's what I'm starting at. I'm going to work on balancing this out a lot more. I need to wait on it to dry so I can see what the color shift is going to be and then move on from there. But I will be making a post as I continue to finish this up in the community section and maybe in Facebook. Let's check the comment section, see if there are any final comments or any final questions before I go ahead and wrap up. We've been on quite a while at this point, and I feel like we've covered a lot. We've covered a lot. So how are you guys out there? Ooh, it looks pretty decent on camera though. I ain't too mad at it. Had a work phone call. Cool. Looking great, Thrifty. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So, friends, here we are. This is kind of where we're leaving it for today. I'm going to continue to work on this. I'm going to be adding some more wood detail into the wood, and I will be doing some more kind of shading on the iron to give it more of a off-white sort of antique old feel look. I may put in a background. Haven't quite decided yet. Maybe not. We'll see. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, friends. Anything else from anyone? No, if there is not, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me again for the second live in a row, because we had one yesterday. Keep in mind, we will have a pre-recorded video release coming out this Wednesday. Um, what did I say it was going to be on? I forgot just that quick. It'll be on something good, though, I'm sure. And then Sunday, following, I probably really need to go ahead and get a product review. I have quite a few items that are ready to be reviewed. And if I wait till after Inktober, then I'm going to end up flooding you guys with product reviews during the month of November. And I really don't want to do that because November is Thrifty Pastel month. So, possibly, I need to do a sketchbook. As I said earlier, way back in the beginning of the video, I need to do another sketchbook or sort of like a craft along. That's what Wednesday is going to be. Wednesday is going to be Inktober in crafting, or Inktober used in crafting, or Inktober and crafting, however you want to title it in your head. We will be using water-soluble ink-based products, but we are going to be creating, using cards. We're creating a sketchbook cover, one or the other, just because I want to do something Inktober-ish with craft as well. So you can expect that. Once this video is done, once I'm done here, I'm immediately gonna go edit the live from yesterday, so you guys can check the live description from yesterday for any of those products that you're interested in, and don't forget to check the information in the video so that you can get entered for the first Thrifty Inktober giveaway. We're having 2 this month, and the first one is announced in that particular video from yesterday, so go check it out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's live, maybe picked up on something, learned something. Don't forget to sprinkle a little love if you did or enjoyed hanging out with Thrifty and the other people in the Thrifty art community. Give it a little love and boot for that as well. You can share the video because there's caring if you choose to. And before I head out, my friends, let me bid you adieu by telling you what I do at the end of every single video. Other than the fact, I love you guys. I'm so grateful to have you as a part of my art world. I'm so glad that you choose to hang out with me. And I cannot wait to continue this venture with you. With that said, just keep creating.